Let's take to the skies with the 7 best sims to play with a flight stick. One of the greatest things about PC gaming is the opportunity to play sims with exactly the right kind of gear. And in this video, we'll be looking at 7 of the best flight sims you can play using a HOTAS, or hands-on throttle and stick. And, of course, it would be remiss of us not to direct you to our own best-in-class flight sim gear, so you can find links for the X52 and X56 in the description below. Please fasten your seatbelt, stow your tray table, and prepare for your in-flight entertainment. Here are 7 of the best sims you can play using a flight stick. Imagine a battle royale of flight simulators, if you will, warring it out to be the winner of the chicken dinner of the exceptionally well-organised skies. X-Plane 11 is the plucky underdog here, the unexpected success story after long years of predictable victories from Microsoft Flight Simulator. X-Plane 11 doesn't reinvent the wheel, or stick at least, but this is a constantly updated, not to mention thoroughly modern, simulator. There's a scenery gateway that means you can design your own 3D airports, endless patches, the ability to create your own aircraft if you don't like the default offerings, and a huge community of fellow pilots to talk shop with. This level of airborne intricacy deserves nothing less than a proper setup. Check out the Steam reviews of X-Plane, and not only will you find keen flight sim fans, but actual pilots commenting on the realism of the rudder motion on individual planes. And if that doesn't deserve an X52 and some instrument control panels, quite frankly, we don't know what does. Taking to the skies is serious business, and given that you're already invested in a HOTAS by this point, it's important to know what to spend even more of your hard-earned cash on. Well, the good news is that Digital Combat Simulator World's base game is absolutely free to play. Download from Steam and you'll find this expansive sandbox is dangerously compelling, not to mention as in-depth as you want it to be.
Contact.
It does take a few hours to get to grips with the extent of the world and its granularity, but get your controls organised and this is a beautiful, realistic simulation. Whether you're taking to the skies in a Spitfire or perfecting your landings in an aircraft carrier, DCS World constantly delivers gorgeous landscapes and ultra-detailed interiors. Oh, and while the free version will sate your airborne desires initially, the range of extra downloadable content is incredibly vast, spanning iconic time periods and maps. The sky really does seem to be the limit. No, you don't need to go quite as far as redesigning half of your room to look like a cockpit to give yourself the ultimate elite dangerous experience. Although we are right behind you with our trusty Swedish flat-pack furniture tools if that's how you choose to live your life. Going hands-on with the stick and throttle is quite enough when it comes to Frontier's in-depth space sim, and there's no need to have a fight with your landlord over putting up Galaxy map wallpaper. Given that we're, Logitech G, we're never going to tell you to ditch your mouse and keyboard without a very good reason, and Elite Dangerous is very much one of those. Whether you're a fan of just taking in scenery like loading up a space version of Euro Truck Simulator, or you want the right level of control for nail-biting, head-spinning dogfights, having the right flight controls just takes things to the next level.
Target destroyed.
And if you want to take things even further, just throw on a VR headset and be prepared to never want to leave space.
Again? Really? I thought we had this covered, Commander.
Battle for Stalingrad continues the legendary Isle Sturmovik series, offering a fine combination of realistic simulation and accessibility. It's less intimidating than some of the more technical titles on this list, but it still features realistic aerodynamics, detailed aircraft, and state-of-the-art flight modelling to give you an accurate sensation of flight, even more so if you're playing with the stick. And the combat is fantastic too, gripping dogfights and land-to-air battles that make the most of the game's famously good damage modelling. There's even a detailed single-player career mode, which works across other DLC packages in which you guide your chosen pilot all the way up to Squadron Commander. And finally, the setting is incredible too. By playing through this, you'll learn about real events that took place during the Second World War. It's perhaps not the most obvious way to learn about military history, but Battle for Stalingrad's dogfights and bombing runs offer a vivid, exhilarating snapshot of aerial conflict. War Thunder has been described quite perfectly as the most historically accurate way to destroy planes. We might be stretching the definition of sim slightly with this one, but this is the game to pick if you're more concerned with exploding things into shards of hot metal than you are realistic aerodynamics and pixel-perfect landings. And there are lots of things to destroy, over 1,000 combat vehicles stretched across 80 maps in a free-to-play game with a frighteningly vast player base. So if you've spent all your cash on a brand new Flightstick setup and forgot to hold anything back for actual games, War Thunder is here for you. And that might sound like faint praise, but it's really not. If you're in any doubt about how compelling War Thunder is, just check out the Steam reviews from players with hundreds and thousands of hours clocked up in this comprehensive, accessible, massively multiplayer military game. Whether you've been on the full journey with the constantly evolving Star Citizen, or you just want to dive into space without knowing the $200 million development process, you still want the most immersive control setup possible. A Flightstick is nigh on essential to truly experience the joys of this space sim and its endless and often rather expensive spaceships. Whether you want Star Wars-style dogfights in space or just to hurtle across galaxies on delivery missions, the choice is very much yours in Star Citizen. Plus, given the fact that it's in active development, this is a game that evolves around you. Systems are updated, planets are added, and worlds come to life as you play. And if you get started now, you'll be in perfect shape to be trained and ready for the single-player Squadron 42 when it starts testing in the latter half of 2020. Let's just, try and be patient.
Welcome to Robert Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
It's had plenty of updates over the years, including a big 2.0 reinvention back in 2017, but World of Warplanes is still up there with the best arcade flyers. And we do mean arcade. In comparison with the more mechanical entries on this list, we don't suggest using World of Warplanes to learn how to be the one who takes over from the pilot in an emergency. If learning to make things go boom is your intention though, step inside the cockpit. If you've played World of Tanks or World of Warships, you know the drill as you progress through a series of tiers, unlocking more planes as you play. With handsome visuals and a chance to unplug your brain and forget your full takeoff routine, World of Warplanes is like a big, stupid, guilty pleasure blockbuster that lets you take your Flightstick to the skies for some explosive fun. A bit like the Meg without Jason Statham or a giant shark, and it's set in the sky. So nothing like the Meg at all then.
We've taken control of the airfield. I'm proud of you, pilots. Head back home.
So that's the 7 best simulation games you should play with a Flightstick on PC. Let us know if we've missed your favourite in the comments below. Steer yourselves towards that like button if you enjoyed this list, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for more features just like this one. And if you do already subscribe, please remember to hit that notification bell so you know exactly when our next video, lands.